All right, what's up, guys? So back with another one here. So today I want to talk about something. We're going to talk about a specific character, Mr. Anji here. So I want to tell you, this is what's going on in Japan right now, because you guys don't want to listen to me. He got his little update. His patch came out, what, like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. The initial impression from everybody on Twitter was that, oh my god, Anji's crazy now, right? They saw a couple clips. He's busted, he's broken, he's top 5 character now. Meanwhile, the Anji pros like me, I said, these changes don't mean anything. It's a fake buff. He barely changed at all. He's still a very, very weak character. All of his problems still exist. Of course, nobody wants to hear me. You know, Jiyuna, you're just chatting streamer. We want to hear your opinion. We want to hear a real pro. We want to hear a real pro. Well, then who better than the #1 Anji player in the entire world? Jiro, Anji OG, he's been playing fighting games 20 plus years or something. He's really good in all the games he plays, and you know, he committed, even when Anji was weak earlier on. But recently, he was in a video on Minami's channel. Minami, another really good fighting game player. He invited a Jiro to have a little talk right there. So of course, if you guys like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe to both of these guys. Follow them on Twitter. Subscribe to YouTube. Do whatever you want to do. Subscribe to this YouTube too, by the way. Make sure you do that while you're here. But anyway, without further ado, you guys don't want to hear what I have to say, so let's hear what Jiro has to say. So it's a pretty long video. It's like 12 minutes. Let me just cut through to the meat of the conversation here. So basically he asked, all right, give me a gist. Give me a gist of the Anji changes right there. So Jiro, he says, look, the one thing you can definitely say is that he became more fun, but you can't really say he got a straight buff, right? You can't really say he got much stronger, right? That's what I was saying. You didn't want to listen to me, but you're gonna listen to him. We said the same thing. So what is the big change that everyone's talking about? As you see in the video in the background right now, he's explaining the Fujin, right? So Fujin by itself is a very weak move. It's a weak move in this game. It has no invincibility, it has no guard point, it has no way to really get around any sort of attack. So what was added here is that you can cancel out of the Fujin before the Fujin hits, right? So we call it like Kara Fujin right now. So what he's kind of explaining is that it looks really good, but you're very, very, very vulnerable. So while the Fujin hits right here, he's showing like, so right, he says while you're going forward on the Fujin, there is no attack hitbox or anything like that. So yes, you do have access to like a low, you do have access to an overhead, you do have access to the hop right now, but you're completely vulnerable in that state. But yeah, so this is the part after he did the explanation on the Fujin like mix-ups and everything. He says right there, like his initial thoughts was like, you know what, I can start going crazy. We can do Fujin mix-ups in neutral. And he said he tried it. You know, I tried doing this in the real match. I thought that it would connect. I thought it would be useful, but it didn't really work at all, right? Nothing actually happened. Didn't help at all. But what he learned from this, what he learned from like the Fujin changes, is that even though it's not useful in neutral, it doesn't make him any better in the neutral game. In exchange for that, his pressure and his mix-ups, got buffed, right? So that's the big buff. That's what the big Fujin change do right here. So here's kind of explaining that in the old version, people waited to block Fujin and then you just had to react. That was it, right? He's showing, right? It's pretty easy. You block the Fujin and then you just look out for the 4 options, right? There's the hop, the low, the overhead, or the fan. And the good players, and talking about high level play, you can react to all that. It's easy. Hold down back, right? If they hop, you throw them. If they go overhead, you block. And if they do the fan, you just jump. So you cover all that option. So he said, you know, the old version was just not quite good, right? He says right there, right? It was incredibly easy to react and handle all the Fujin mix-ups. I like this, the phrase he uses, betrayal. He's like, but now, with the new changes, you can betray their mindset of just block and react by doing the raw cancel right there. So now he's showing how to like sneak in some raw cancels right here. But yeah, like he says, you know, all your selections increase by a lot. And again, you can just kind of betray that kind of mindset of block and react. For example, this little mix-up right here. Right, 1, 2, Fujin fixed, like, you get up, you tech, you think you block the Fujin, go for the mix-up, no, just go right ahead, overhead, da-da-da. So it's okay to kind of mix up, and it definitely helps with Anji's, you know, mix-up game, and being able to crack open their opponent's defense right there. So the other big change, too, I think more so than the Fujin, even though he says the Fujin helps, it seems the biggest change that he feels is the buff to, was it Ichi? Ichi, or the fan toss, you know, the spike that comes down from the skies right here. So what he's showing right here is this fan toss would not have connected in the last version. See how it hit behind chip? That would not have connected in the last version right there. So he said because of the hitbox increase right now, it became a lot easier to use, and you can use it in different situations, not just in neutral, but also for mix-ups right now. So because of the fan buff and everything that he showed, this is a new option that Anji did not have. So in the old version, he didn't really have anything to do after the throw, you know, because you can't get Butterfly Oki in the corner. You'd have to run up and meaty. But now, he said this is a change thanks to that fan buff, right? After the throw, Fujin, jump, fan toss, right? You keep them there. It baits DPs too, which is really good, right? From that situation, he said if Chip did a beta blade, it'll bait it right there. So, you know, it's just an option he had, really helps him out. So that also opens up new routes. So this kind of new kind of pressure string he's gonna do right here. He said this is the Anji tech monsters have developed this so far. So using the new fan, and then also the buff to far S. So he's gonna show right here, right? A, that little loop, right? Far S, Fujin, fan toss, far S, Fujin, fan toss. So that possible now because both of those moves got buffed. Far S, by the way, was one of the worst moves ever in the entire game. So he says, you know, talking about the far S buff, it's kind of like this move got buffed, but how bad it was before was insane. It's really weird for a Japanese person to directly say something is bad or weak, but he says right here, he's like, just so I don't cause any sort of confusion, let me just say it. This move was very, very, very weak. I think it's still weak now, but it got fixed. If you don't know the frame data in the old version, it was -15 on block, -12 on hit. So if you compare his far S, and by the way, it didn't combo to Fujin. So it's like no matter what you did when you press this button, you were going to get punished. He says he didn't really understand the point of pressing far S at all. Like, what was the point of this button at all? He's like, man, if you compare this move to Soul, because Soul also has a far S, right? The difference in frame data between him, Anji's far S, and Soul's far S, ready? 17 frames. Soul's far S is 17 frames better than Anji's far S. Soul's far S is godlike. Button moves him forward, combos into whatever. +2. Anji's was -15, so there's 17 frame difference, right? Soul's was 17 frames better than Anji's. So this got buffed. He says it became more easy to use in neutral. And also this loop that I was showing earlier. So one thing he explains too about this loop is that even though far S is a bad move, even after the buff, it's still not great. There is a special property of the far S, and it's that it hits quite low to the ground. So he explains that a lot of players in Chip's situation right now will try to 6P. You know, that's a common Guilty Gear strategy. Use 6P to blow up, you know, these far range pokes. But Anji's far S, for some reason, has a very low to the ground hitbox, so it'll beat a 6P. So that's kind of he says Anji's like special trait, something you want to kind of pay attention to there. This one is good. This is something too that he specifically calls out this one move, you know, talking about all the different changes. Right there, so dash hop. So this is the move that I think got the most buzz on Twitter. Was like, damn, Anji's moving right now, you know? Fujin, dash, cancel, hop, and everything. So he says this is actually probably nothing. He says he doesn't like this because you're vulnerable the whole time. If your opponent presses any button, if they press any button at all, you'll beat them. It can hop over lows, but you can air dash to get over lows as well. So he says, yeah, even though it looks really dangerous and like people go, wow, that's crazy. He's like, when I tried it and, you know, Anji versus Anji, I was able to throw it pretty much every time. Anytime that Anji did it against me, I was just, okay, let me just toss him right there. And he says when he tried doing it, it didn't really work. So dash hop, not so useful, boys. Just like I said. But here's one line right now. So talking about the Fujin changes and everything, he says overall, you know, it's a really, really interesting change. And because of that, he's very, very happy. So he's very positive, man. I guess if you stuck with Anji from the beginning, you know, if you suffered through that and all these changes, like he's happy. He's not complaining. He doesn't really say he wants any more there. Finally, in conclusion, so this is what I wanted, right? I wanted him to come out and say, Anji's strong now. Anji got good. Or I wanted him to come out and say, Anji's crap. He's still bad. He's not good at all. Unfortunately, we don't get that clear verdict. I feel like Japanese FGC doesn't really go that hard on their tier list or their, this character sucks, this character's strong. They kind of keep things a little bit more to themselves. But the final verdict, when he's asked, all right, give me your thoughts after you explained everything about Anji. So this is pretty good. He says, if I'm going to say it straightly, when Anji first came out in Strive, if you compared him to the old Anji, no matter what, you know, he was lacking some power. He was missing something. So because of that, a lot of people quit Anji. He's like, I feel like a lot of people quit Anji because of that initial release. He said, but the changes to Anji this time allow you to get some of that strength back. In addition to that, he's also got a lot more freedom. So for example, the Fujin cancels right here, the car Fujin cancels have never been in Guilty Gear before. Right? This is a brand new thing to Anji right now. So, you know, this is the first time as Anji plays we can experiment with this. We can discover some new tech and do sorts of other stuff. So all you people that had your heart broken with the initial release, I want you to come back and play him. So he's begging for the Anji players to come back and play the character. But there you go. So that's it. Take that how you will, right? People said they didn't want to hear my opinion. You got Jiro's opinion right now. So there's no clear, this character's really good now. Or this character is still crap. But it seems like, you know, I was saying too, a lot of people were saying, is the car Fujin stuff is not really that scary, especially in neutral. Using it to, you know, up your mix-ups too is pretty nice. You know, it definitely helped with his mix-up right now. But it seems like the big change is probably the fan. The fan toss being plus now and having good hitbox. There's still answers to it. You can jump to avoid it and stuff, or, you know, if you have a DP, if it's not spaced properly, you can DP right through it, but it opens up some new possibilities. And again, it's like I said, if you played him before, kind of like Jiro was saying too, is like, for someone like him who stuck around with Jiro or with Anji when he was weak, he must be happy, but is it really enough? I don't know. Are these changes enough to make the Anji players come back? He's begging, man. He talks about the Anji tech squad. So, you know, I guess the Anji Discord where they share everything. You know, they're working on new setups, new Oki with the new Anji. So maybe he'll get better. I don't know. Maybe he needs more people. That's why he's asking everybody to come back. Yeah, there you go. That's it. Those are Japan's. Those are Jiro. It's the #1 Anji player in the world. His thoughts on the character. He likes the changes. He's happy. He refuses to say if he got stronger, though, huh? He refused to say Anji got strong or Anji's weak, so I don't know. I still think he's crap, but we shall see. But yeah, there you go. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with Jiro? You think this is enough? Do you think these changes help him out? Do you think he's gonna get stronger right now, or do you think he's just trying to, like, be positive, keep things in a positive light? You know, he doesn't want to scare more Anji players away? I don't know. Let me know. Leave a comment. Let me know, you fellow Anji bros, or if you fought against Anji in a new patch. How you feel? Is he scarier now? Are you getting hit by these mix-ups now? Or is it the same old, you know, just react, block, and punish him? I don't know. These dudes saying I'm downplaying Anji to try and get him buffed in October. Like, he needs buff, man. He needs buffs. But yeah, that's it. So like always, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And like always, you're still watching. Thank you. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.